What's up, guys? It's Mickey, and welcome back to another episode of Blank Canvas. I wish you guys could see my setup right now. I'm recording in the car, but I got the microphone, I got the laptop, I got the Bible. Like, your girl got her whole official set, and she's doing the darn thing. I'm sure people are looking at me crazy in the neighborhood. Like, why is this girl sitting in her car and recording? So, let's jump into this week's episode. I want to talk about something that I have been dealing with. And I want to see how I want to describe this without going into too much detail because people be so nosy and so deep in my business. They're so trying to connect the dots between the episodes. Now, I do tell y'all to follow the journey, but listen, some of the stuff y'all be trying to figure out, if I wanted y'all to know or say it, I would just be honest and open and just say it. So if I ain't saying it, you ain't got to think too deep into it, okay? But I feel like this is a normal thing. Actually, I don't even feel. I know for a fact this is a normal thing. It's a normal human feeling and emotion. And what I've been experiencing, I feel like it's normal as well. And I know so many people have experienced it themselves. And I feel like I can hopefully put it in a way where we get a little more clarity and understanding. And by sharing me experiencing it, maybe it can help you guys not feel as alone, or you guys can just understand, like, okay, Mickey's experienced this too. So nothing is wrong with me. I don't have to feel bad about myself. I'm putting my thoughts out there so y'all can know it's not just y'all. Like, it's me too, right? It's all of us. It's all of us because we're human beings. So something has been making the little green-eyed monster peek out a little bit. And it's not in a super serious way. It's not like in a deep way, like I can laugh about it. But I know, like, I get a little ugh, like a little in my mouth, or if you could see my face, it's like a little stank face. There's something that's been happening that makes me feel that way. Like the little green-eyed monster is trying to peek out just a little bit. And I asked God and I did some soul searching because I didn't want to feel it. I didn't want to feel it. I immediately prayed for it. I learned through the first go round with different things that I experienced in my life. I better take it to God and I better take it to Him quick, because if I don't want certain emotions to fester or boil over or to continue, then I need to immediately take it to God, and I need to be honest, like, God, this is where I am. This is how I'm feeling. Help me to deal with these emotions. And He absolutely positively and just be better from them. Like, He'll teach you lessons. Like, we don't always have to feel guilty for feeling negative emotions. We can be honest with God and He can help us deal with them. And He can also teach us different things in the meantime about ourselves, about how we operate with other people, about how we operate towards ourselves and different things, and how we can be better and do better. So I love God for that. But I have been feeling a tad bit jealous of something. Uh-oh, don't do this to me, Mike. I have been feeling a tad bit jealous of something that had been happening in my life. And I really wish I could go into detail to paint the picture better, but I'm just not, because been there, done that, learned my lesson on that. But I'll keep it as generic as possible. Something had been making me feel a little bit jealous. And I went to God and I was like, okay, look, I don't like this feeling. What is it? Because if I do feel this negative emotion, it's gonna bleed out, or it's gonna build and become worse. And it's not that bad. Like, it's nowhere near that bad. I'm not trying to minimize it to be in denial. Like, mhm, I know it's not that bad because I know what it can be. So while it's not that bad, let me go ahead and bring it to you, God. Let me be honest. I'm feeling a little jealous about this, but why? So as I was journaling and I was praying to God, and I immediately was like, take any jealousy, take any envy, because I still be confused on the difference between them. So take any jealousy, take any envy, if there's anything of that nature in me, take any hatred, take any unforgiveness, take any anger, because anger is like a secondary emotion anyways. Take that away from me so that this doesn't affect me, this doesn't affect other people in my life. Like, but in order to take it away, I also ask myself, like, why do I feel it? Like, what particularly made me start to feel the little green-eyed monster creep out a little bit? And I will say that when I did some soul searching and I thought deeply, it wasn't necessarily the person or anything. It was more so fear. of something else. And it wasn't, I'll say it like this, it wasn't the thing or it wasn't the person, but it was the idea and the fear. And I'll just leave it there because I don't want to say too much. But what it did make me think was, okay, what is the fear of? And I journaled and I talked to God and we discussed what I think that my fear of it was. And it made me want to look deeper into the emotions of jealousy and envy. And I had always heard, well, not always, but I had discovered along the way of me growing up that they're saying that there's a difference between jealousy and envy. And I thought, well, does my BK fam know that there's a difference between jealousy and envy? And if you don't, let's talk about it. This is from verywellmind.com. And they said, there is a difference between envy and jealousy. Specifically, envy is a desire for something another person has, while jealousy is a feeling tied to fear. Remember I said that I was fearful of something? That jealousy is a feeling tied to fear of losing something that you have. Understanding the difference in their meanings may help you better identify and understand your emotions. So I'm just going to skim through this article because I think they did a wonderful job at breaking it down. If I remember to link it in the episode description, I'll link it so you guys can read it for yourself. But here's an example that they use because they say that we as human beings, we often use these words interchangeably, envy and jealousy, but there is a difference between them both. And as I break it down, I think you guys will see the clear difference. So envy involves wanting what someone else has, and jealousy involves feeling threatened that someone will take away something you have. Psychologists for a very long time have agreed that they are two very distinct emotions. And let's see what example they use. So this is an example of envy. And they say a characteristic of envy is wanting what someone else has. It's not having something that we want, but observing someone else with it and desiring it. Hence, it typically only involves two parties, you and another person. The thing you are envious of can be a quality of theirs, an object they own, their status, or anything you don't have but want, right? And so some more specific examples that they say are you can be envious of a friend who has a more attractive body than you. You can be envious of a coworker's raise. Because the idea that they got a raise and now they make more money. And it's not necessarily to say you don't want them to have a good body or make more money, but you're like, dang, I wish I could have that too, right? You could be envious. They say you could be envious of your brother's charm and charisma compared to your shyness and self-consciousness. You can be envious of your neighbor's new car. Does that make sense? You may not necessarily want these people to not have these things, but you can be envious that you do not have these things yourself. Now, if we go into jealousy, psychologists and different studies have shown that jealousy is characterized by feelings of anger, which we know is a secondary emotion, anxiety, which we know I suffer with, fear of loss, and distrust. And yeah, I know that what I have been experiencing was definitely not envy. It was definitely jealousy a little bit, and I'll be the first to admit it. Um and they say, unlike envy, jealousy typically involves three parties. Jealousy is when you feel threatened that someone will take away something you already have. And they say another difference between jealousy and envy is that jealousy does not always involve a sense of inferiority. So the person you are jealous of may not have something you lack and desire. In other words, you can be jealous of someone you are not envious of at all. And I think in my situation, the little bit of jealousy that I did feel had nothing to do with the thing or the person themselves. I could give two flying freaks, right? About the specifics of that. It was more the fear of other things that I'm not going into detail about. So let's see, let's go on down. They say which one is worse, jealousy or envy. Now, like I just said, they did say that just because you're jealous of someone doesn't mean that you automatically are also envious of them. However, you listen in BK fam, however, it is possible to feel jealousy and envy simultaneously. It's just that it doesn't always mean that that's happening at the same time. And it says one feeling does not have to come before the other. So you may feel jealous and then envious, or you may feel envious and then jealous, or you may feel one or the other and not both at the same time at all, right? Now, they do say that even though these are normal human reactions, of course, there are extremes to everything. Like, you can be angry about something, but not necessarily want to go kill somebody, um, kidnap somebody, punch them in the face, you know what I mean? And then there is the opposite end of the spectrum where you are fed up to that point where you want to do those things, right? There are levels to everything in life. That's what I always say. So even with envy and jealousy, there are things like we can feel it with different things. And emotions, I've often heard, is a checkpoint for us to check in with ourselves. Why do I feel this way? Let me check in. Is there something that I can do? Is there a better way that I can go about it? Is there a better way that I can approach it? So forth and so on, right? Um, whether it's sadness, anger, anxiety, depression, what else am I missing? Any emotion under the sun, make sure that you check in with yourself and be like, why am I feeling these things? Dig deeper. It's not always what we think it is at the surface. Dig deeper to really understand it. That way you can process it differently. You can probably see it from a different perspective, and it may not, you can work through it and it may not ever come up again. Or if it does come up again, trust, it won't feel like it did the first time. Take it from me. I promise it will not feel like it did the first time. And if it does come up or anything, you can be like, okay, I know what this is. What is this feeling? Why am I feeling this way? Am I re-triggered about something? Think different things of that nature. Like, these are questions to ask yourself. I'm a type 5 on the Enneagram. We like questions because we like to do the work. We like to figure out, why does this work this way? How does this connect to this? Why am I the way that I am? Why are you the way that you are? Right? Like, is it really a big surprise that my aqua nature is also an Enneagram 5? I think not. I think not. So, they also go down and they give you some tips on how to manage it, like have an open and honest conversation with your partner, get to know yourself and understand why you're feeling this way, which is what I just explained, right? Before, I didn't even read the tips before I'm reading it to y'all, and it's like the biggest thing I can say with any emotion is to check in with yourself, figure out why you are feeling the way that you are. And it says connect with loved ones. And then, we also always talk about having an open and honest conversation. That says with your partner, but I think you should have it with anybody because, like they explain, you could be jealous of a sibling, or not jealous. You can be jealous of a sibling. You can be envious of a sibling. You can desire the things that they have. Your friends can be envious of you for different things. Like, maybe you are being able to travel where they can't travel. Maybe you can go out where they can't go out. Or I'm trying to think of different things your friends can be envious of. Oh, with women, your friend can be envious because you're married and they're not. Your friend can be envious because you're a mom and they're not. And they've been trying so hard, but here you are on like your sixth baby. And they're like, what the hell? I'm happy that you have a kid, but I'm a little envious because I want to be a mama too, right? Like, there are different things that your friends can be envious of. And again, it goes back to, it's not necessarily that they don't want you to not have these things, but they may have the desire for themselves as well. Does that make sense? I hope so. So I wanted to break down the difference between envy and jealousy. Oh, and something that I learned in the middle of like my research for this is that anxiety and excitement can show up the same way in the body too. But I don't wanna mix that with this episode. I just thought that was a nice little gem. Like, I wish I had a little sound effect to be like, "Ding," right? That was a nice little gem too, that anxiety and excitement can show up in the same way, and the way that we label the words, remember, life and death is in the power of the tongue. It applies in so many areas in our life that we minimize or take for granted, but anxiety and excitement can have the same effect in the body. And depending on our perception of it, or depending on the way we look at it, will determine whether we feel a positive impact or a negative impact by it. So I question myself on how many things I said I'm anxious about that maybe I was looking forward to, but I felt like a little bit of nervousness and excitement kind of thing, right? Like maybe I am excited, but I feel the nervousness part and I'm labeling it as 100% anxiety. Does that make sense? So yeah, that's a cool little gem to throw in there too. But I had to be honest, your girl was going through some stuff and felt like a little bit of jealousy. I think I was retriggered by some things. And I think what helped is being honest with God and immediately started praying on it. Also, me, I need the psychology behind it. Like, I can't just let stuff be. I need to know why I'm feeling this way. What's going on? What triggers in the brain? Like, what can I do to fix it? Is there something to fix? And also, since I'm trying to practice having open and honest conversations with people and not just shutting down and sitting on my emotions, not only am I going to have to be honest with God and myself, I'm going to have to be honest with either the thing and or people. So, oh God, that's annoying. I don't like that. I don't like that. But I'm going to do it and it's going to be better for me. I know in the end it's going to be better for me and everyone else involved, and it's just like healthier, right? It's healthier. I like that. So what I want to end with is a proverb. And this is from chapter 14, verse 10. And it says, each heart knows its own bitterness, and no one else can fully share its joy. And I love that proverb because I just think that's, I think that's perfect and beautiful. Like, we all know our own bitterness in our heart. And don't take it so literal, guys. Like, sometimes it could be bitterness, sometimes it could be anger, sometimes it could be sadness, like all the different emotions. It can be those different things, but we know what's in our heart. And sometimes the heart can be deceitful, right? So maybe we think, I'm cool, I'm fine, I've never felt these emotions. You know what annoys me? When people be like, I've never been jealous, I've never been envious, I've never been angry, like I'm always good. Like, right, you're human. Like, there's no way. Like, if that was the case, God would have made more than one of you. Now, he made us all uniquely and distinctly different. Like, let's not get that intentional. My God made us all uniquely and distinctly different. But it doesn't make you a bad person if you felt a little bit of envy. Remember, it is levels to it. Like they explain in the article in more detail, envy is fine. A little bit of jealousy is fine. Just figure out why you feel that way, work through it. Now, when you start going to the opposite end of the spectrums, too much envy can be detrimental just as much as too much jealousy can be detrimental. It's not one is worse than the other. It's figure out why you feel that way, work through it. Try your best to work through it. If you need some help to work through it, get some help. Don't feel ashamed to get some help. Like, I don't know why we be shaming people for therapy or for trying to communicate and trying to be better people. Like, do we not see what the world looks like? Do we not understand how messed up it is? We need to help each other. We need to do better. So, yeah, I thought that was a nice proverb to end. Oh, sorry. My nice little setup. It did me well until it didn't, huh? I thought that was a nice way to try to end, which is with that proverb, and I want to read it again. It says, each heart knows its own bitterness, and no one else can fully share its joy. So I hope you guys like this episode, and I hope that I kind of broke down envy and jealousy a little more. And I hope you guys know, like, it's okay to feel both. Try not to take it to the extreme, but it's okay to feel both. Remember to check in with yourself with any emotion, but definitely with those. And don't feel bad. Like, you're a human being. You're gonna feel these things, okay? It's like a duh. We're human beings. We're complex creatures. Let's stop trying to box ourselves in. Let's try to stop being perfect and be like, I'm always happy. I'm never sad. I never feel this way. Like, oh, I can't believe I feel jealous of something or someone, or I can't believe I feel envious or something or someone. Like, it happens. Just don't sit in it. Don't let it remain. All right. So I hope that helps. I love you guys, and I can't wait to see what we talk about next time. Bye.
Blank canvas, blank canvas, blank canvas, blank canvas. Don't know what the topic is, but we gon' talk about something on the mental, on the mind, ran heavy. Society with the levies, kinda deadly. Silent killer, hard to daddy. Most killers had no daddy. Sadly, that's just what it be in my community. We got no unity. Dark skin wanna ruin me. I'm speaking fluently. So chill. guest list. Blank canvas, blank canvas, blank canvas.